ball goes up, are your opponents running or are they laughing? There's only one shot in pickleball where when you miss it, you feel like a total fool. You set that point up perfectly and you miss the easiest shot. It feels the worst. That shot's the overhead.
My name is Elisha, and this is my friend.
So we're gonna jump right into the overhead. I'm gonna explain what it is, and then we're gonna get into tips on how to hit it. The overhead is where you get a ball basically over your head. So things that you would be doing in this situation is someone's gonna be hitting a lob, a ball that's really high, and you're gonna be hitting that ball above your head down into the court.
All right, so we want to talk about the movement for the overhead. So at the beginner level, our initial inclination is just to move back. So we're set up parallel with the kitchen line, and we just start moving. And what happens is this can be a disaster because then we fall backwards and we could get hurt. What we want to do instead is we want to pivot. So number one, pivot that right foot back, paddle up, and then point. So again, 1, 2, 3, pivot, paddle up, and point. That right arm, we want that elbow to be in a trophy position, almost like it's pointed directly back. And what we're pointing at, we're not pointing at the lights over here or anything else, we're pointing at the ball. This allows us to get under the ball. You almost want to be so much under the ball to whereas if you were not to swing at it, it would come down and it would hit you in the head.
All right, so now we're gonna talk about the technique of the overhead. Justin just talked about the movement. Now we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty technique. When that ball goes up and you do the 3 Ps, the pivot, the paddle up, point, okay? When you move up to hit the ball, make sure that you're extending your elbow and then you're locking out your arm to contact, okay? A lot of times we see mistake happen where we let the ball drop way too low. Part of the advantage of hitting an overhead is you're able to hit the ball at its highest point. If you're allowing it to drop down here, the net becomes a big issue and you don't get that advantage anymore. So make sure that when you do those 3 Ps, you extend the elbow first up, then we extend the arm to contact, and then we follow through across our body. You can also add in a little bit of wrist, but slowly. Start out with no wrist, and then as you get better at consistently getting the overhead in, we can start adding in wrist to get that power.
So Elisha just at the end of what he was talking about mentioned the follow through. I'm gonna expand on that just a little bit. So as you've made point of contact, when we're following through, one key thing we wanna be focused on is our weight shifting forward. So if we're following through, like if we're making contact and falling through, but our weight is falling back, it's really hard to control that shot and hit it with a lot of power. So you wanna get back, you wanna get under it, and you wanna follow through so that your weight is shifting from your back foot to your front foot. Now, one other thing here, when you're swinging, you had that arm up before, don't keep that arm there because you're gonna hit your arm. Let your arm come down through with the shot.
All right, so Justin had mentioned the pivot. When the ball's a little bit further back, we need to make sure that we're able to back up efficiently. Instead of backpedaling or running, when we're a beginner, we want to be able to shuffle back and then be able to hit that overhead transfer weight back in. So make sure you're shuffling back. Now, an advanced tip, a lot of times what you'll see on higher levels, especially when they're trying to run back fast enough because good lobs are happening, is running back, but then what we do is jump, turn, and scissor kick. So this is a very advanced tip, so you can practice this once you get the basic overhead down. So basically what you would do is you would fully turn, run back while you keep your eyes on the ball, then you're basically turning your body as you're jumping, and then scissor kicking as you come around to create a great overhead. So again, for the advanced tip, it's turn, running, jumping, and then kicking up that leg as we hit the overhead. The key here is to keep the upper body forward as you're scissor kicking so that you're still hitting effective overhead and keeping your weight, upper body weight moving forward as you're moving back.
Hey, if you guys are enjoying this content, be sure to hit that like button and leave a comment below on how long you've been playing pickleball. Before you go, be sure to check out Carbon Pickleball and use code PBJourney10 for 10% off any paddle or Carbon Pickleball gear.